Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a pretty cute form of malicious compliance by a police officer. The driver decided to appeal his ticket, so let's see what happened. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss a new video every single day. That sure is a good excuse for speeding. I was a physicist at an engineering school, and the older faculty liked to tell the story of a long-gone graduate student who tried to get cute with the police officer. He was speeding, going some 20 over the speed limit on I-95, and gets pulled over, and the cop asks him why he was speeding, etc., etc. Being a physicist, he explains that the sudden cold snap overnight caused his tire pressure to fall, and he was speeding because the faster rotation of the wheels increases the heat and pressure within the tire, and it was safer to be driving slightly faster on pressurized tires than at the speed limit on underinflated tires. The cop, amused, asked if what he said about the tire pressures and speeding was true, and the young grad student replies, "Yes, absolutely. I'm a physicist at MIT." The cop then goes back to his vehicle and returns with 2 tickets, one for speeding and one for knowingly driving with underinflated tires. Driving an impaired vehicle or something like that. Needless to say, this poor fellow became a very good example of times when intelligence is not a substitute for wisdom, and why it's poor form to flaunt your education to get out of being a jerk in traffic or otherwise. And our second story. Want to drive your big truck like an a-hole while blaring crappy music? I got you. Happened a few months ago. I was on my way to work with my wife and going east on I-66 towards DC. Just sucks. People are insane here, don't know how to drive, aren't in a hurry, and act like they're distracted tourists admiring the clouds or something. We encountered one of those typical big old trucks that was going under the speed limit in HOV, but then would increase their speed like a madman if anyone tried to pass them. Of course, we encountered them as soon as we hit the interstate, and we just couldn't get away from them. To make matters worse, they all had their windows down, blaring crappy music. It was so loud that I couldn't have a conversation in the car with my wife. This continued on for a long time, even after we got on 495, and even when we got off 495. So then I noticed that the guy was driving a company car with their number listed. I blocked my number and called, and the music stopped. The number listed was apparently his cell phone, and he was playing music through his cell phone. I waited a few seconds, we're one car behind them in the next lane, until the music blasted again, and I called and just muted myself while dying laughing, listening to him scream Spanish at me. I'd hang up, wait a few seconds, and call again. This time he didn't talk, and I asked for the company name. "Hi, I'm calling to reach John's Towing Company," or whatever the name was. This was in April. And he just started talking, and I muted again. After he hung up, I called and asked if he was having trouble hearing me, and he said, Yes, I believe you have the bad signal," and again muted. I finally ended it when we turned off, and I told him that no one wants to hear his effing music, learn to drive. It allowed us to finish the commute with a laugh and less music. Also, F you if you play your music loud as hell at 6 in the morning with all the windows down. F you. And our next story. Yes, I speak English. No, I'm not going to help you with that attitude. I'm so happy I finally get to share a story. I was actually kind of giddy with excitement when this happened. Just to give a little context, I live in Japan and am Japanese born, but went to university and law school in the States, so fluent in both Japanese and English. A few of my friends from law school were visiting, so I was taking them around and acting as sort of a translator while they were shopping. We're in a pretty big department store-esque shop, and my friends needed help translating some electronics. I just come from work, so I'm wearing my suit and I'm looking like a typical attorney. After a while of helping my friends, 2 typical fat American guys, FA, come in with a huge attitude. "Hey, you just gonna help those girls the entire time? There are other customers that need help with English." Now, at this moment, I must have had the biggest effing smile on my face, as I always hoped I would encounter a situation like this, but I honestly couldn't imagine how insane this would be. Typically, I love helping foreigners because I know how hard it is being in Japan without knowing Japanese, and I've met a few cool people from helping them in shops and restaurants, but these two were so entitled and I was with my friends that I was just going to tell him, I don't work here, and excuse myself. So I reply, I'm sorry, I don't. F.A. cutting me off, yeah, you better be sorry. Now I need to know if this is tax-free and if it works in America, pointing to a Nintendo Switch game. Me, damn, did this dude really just say that to me? I couldn't help but laugh a little while telling him I have no idea, because again, F.A. again cutting me off, well, effing go check. Jeez, I thought Japan was known for good service. I feel like I'm in Walmart. At this point, I'm getting pretty pissed because he's now not only acting like a jackwagon, he's insulting my culture. Meanwhile, my friends are laughing their butts off as they browse Reddit as well. If you're reading this, hey. So finally, I go and look at the game, read the back, and tell him they sell this in America, just buy the game there, or ask an employee. F.A., what the hell do you think we're doing? Are you effing R-word? Is this like Japan's version of Walmart or what? I'll be honest, I let my anger get the best of me here and just tell him, hey, how about you go F yourself, you fat piece of crap? As expected, this infuriates this guy and he pushes me and says, what the F did you just say to me? At this point, I'm about to punch this fat F in the face, but a manager comes by. He asks in Japanese what's going on, and I tell him that he started pushing me for no reason. Fat American tells me to translate what he's saying, as if I would, LOL, while the manager decides to call the cops. So I tell the F.A. cops are coming because of the situation, and he starts laughing and says, yeah, maybe then I can finally get some help. In my head, I'm thinking, sure, you speak no Japanese, like they're going to help you. Cops finally arrive, and after some questioning, they come to find that the two F.A. don't have their passports on them. Bad move, buddy. For all those who visit Japan, be sure to have your passport on you at all times, because if you don't have it, cops will escort you back to where it is, or detain you if you can't find it. But we're staying in Narita, about 2 hours away from central Tokyo, and we have reservations at the robot restaurant in a couple hours. LOL. Justice. Cops ask if I want to file a report, and I tell them no, as they throw the two F.A. in the backseat of the car and drive them the 2 hours back to their hotel so they can get their passport. Guess you won't be enjoying that overpriced tourist trap, no refund robot restaurant, dumb butts. And our last story. Came home from a long trip and found new tenants in my flat. I went on a month-and-a-half trip starting in mid-June. I told my landlord about this in writing, email, and gave them permission to enter the apartment to do minor repairs. My lease is until mid-September, and I absolutely made no mention of moving out. I'm paid out through mid-next month, and supposedly the last month's already covered as I paid it up front with my deposit. I arrived at my apartment, a studio in a small building, a bit over 3 hours ago to find a chain on the door preventing me from opening it, even though my key worked. Almost immediately, I heard screaming from the people inside since they thought I was breaking in. I said that it's my apartment, which they denied, even though I could see my PC and they were drinking out of my cups. They claimed that they rented the apartment as fully furnished and that I needed to F off since it and its contents are theirs fair and square. I pointed out the computer only to find that they had basically trashed it since they couldn't unlock it. It's a custom-built machine and definitely is, or was, my most valuable possession. I don't understand why they could possibly think it'd be included as a furnishing. I also had tons of clothes in the closet and drawer, assumed trash now, and the sheets on the bed are mine. I know this. It's a factory defect set I got on sale, so the chances of them having their own is next to none. I called the police, who showed up surprisingly quickly, but the other people have a lease and recent mail for the address. I have no idea what they've been doing with my mail since the locked box was emptied. Since we both have leases, the police couldn't do anything tonight. I'm in a hotel. I'm not sure what the hell I can do. I'm concerned that now this is happening, they'll sell off my stuff or otherwise be spiteful. Lots of the kitchenware are family heirlooms and can't be replaced. They have what's left of my PC and all my furniture. I'm assuming the clothes and me-specific stuff is long gone already. I tried to grab some photos to show that they have my stuff, but they shut the door when they saw, so I only managed a couple of blurry pics. I can't get a hold of my landlord, and my new place isn't available for another month and a half. Since these people have been there for a month, I'm scared they have to be formally evicted and I'll have nowhere to live for the next few weeks. All my stuff is basically gone, especially if they try to get rid of the unique things. All I have is the small amount of clothing I had for my trip. Update 1. I still can't contact my landlord, but I left messages both last night and this morning. A case has been opened with my insurance, but they said not much can be done immediately because it's Sunday. I'm waiting on hearing from them before reaching out to a lawyer myself. I'm about to try the organization suggested. Hopefully they can help even more with specific information. I do have a copy of the lease. It was all done online. I don't have the printed version, though. It was in the apartment. When I moved in, I paid 4 times 1 month's rent, first month, last month, security deposit, and broker fee. I've always paid within a couple hours of rent being posted. It's an online system for all this landlord's property units, and have never missed any utilities. I know for sure this isn't from lack of payment. I had my passport with me since I was traveling outside the country, so that's good. The landlord responded to my email. They definitely received it and acknowledged the trip. I did get home early, though, as someone mentioned, by about 2 weeks. It was originally a 2-month trip. Maybe they were renting the apartment as a really short-term sublet and hoping I wouldn't find out. I'm a little hopeful that they might have put my clothing in storage, if so. Update 2. This is firmly in real-life lawyer territory. I contacted my state's bar association and got a legal referral to local attorney. Seems like the LL messed up big time. My attorney collected damage. I documented everything I own that's in the apartment. The bottom line, I'm going to be okay, and my landlord's going to be paying out the butt for this. And yes, I got the family heirlooms back. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.